think that the Heap Paradox used to describe taxation as theft is pretty bogus. You end up using loaded examples simply to make a point, not just at the expense of objectivity, but I say at the expense of any kind of realistic grounding. I think that your reference to purchases as a counterexample pretty much covers it, and it's a much better analogy. In this era of the all-pervading capitalist vendor-customer model, where everyone from a household getting their bins emptied by the council through to someone being treated in hospital is seen as some kind of customer, we could think of our government as offering governmental infrastructure services for which we, the citizens, are customers. So in effect, we pay for the privilege of living in a particular country, in exactly the same way that you would pay for staying in a hotel or for any other service. We pay for our citizenship, and as a result we get the services offered by whoever it is that's running that particular franchise. So we get armed forces to protect us and our national interests. We get medical care for ourselves and our fellow citizens, well, at least you do in most civilised countries. We get education for ourselves and our fellow citizens, again in most civilised countries. We get roads, police and fire services, and so on. Now, quite often this argument is met with cries of, well, what if I don't want those services, if I don't use them? If I've got no children or my children are at private school, why should I have to pay for state education? If I'm not sick or I have private health insurance, why should I have to pay for state health care? And so on and so on. Well, I say that that's no different from me going into Burger King and paying for my Whopper but asking them to leave out that nasty pickle thing that they normally put into it. Do I get anything knocked off the price of my burger? Well, no, of course I don't. What about the toilets in the restaurant? Because the cost of the premises must be factored into the cost of the burger somehow, and that includes the bogs. But if I don't go to the loo, do I get a refund? Well, no, of course I don't. No more than a blind customer gets a refund on the electric lighting. The facilities are there for everyone, and if I don't use them, then that's just the way that it is. It's part of the deal. So if I don't like this business model, then I can kick Burger King into touch, and I can go and try and find another vendor that has a business model that more closely suits my ideology. That's one of the cornerstones of free market capitalism, this illusion of choice. So I can go to the dodgy white van parked up a side street, and I can buy my Botulo burger for substantially less than I'd pay at Burger King, and it'd have no pickle, no toilets, and probably no parts of the cow that I could actually point to on a diagram of the animal. Now, applying the same metaphor to countries, if I don't want to pay taxes, move. Go and live somewhere with a taxation system that more closely suits your political ideology. But good luck with finding somewhere that counts as civilization. I think that what's really at the root of all of this bleating we hear about freedom and taxation being government theft is simply that people don't like paying tax. It grates having part of what you feel you've earned taken away from you. And the more you have, the more they take away, and so the more it grates. It's about hanging on to what's mine and not being forced to share, not having to subsidise others, even if you can well afford it. So, to me, it has little to do with freedom and more to do with greed. Oliver Wendell Holmes summed it up when he said that taxes are the price we pay for civilization. And trying to use the Heap Paradox to equate taxes with theft ignores what you get back from living in a civilized Western democracy. And as far as I'm concerned, when I look at the alternative, I tell you, for me, those taxes are a fucking bargain.